I guess just, seemed like was it Sydney and Lely defensively made some good stops. Just what did you see from them as far as their defensive performance?
Well, I thought we played well at times defensively, and then we had moments where we were just really bad. So we have to cut back on those. There were stretches in that starting that third quarter where and they may have talked and didn't let me know that if you just don't guard anyone, it might shock them, and then they'll miss shots because we left some people so open. I didn't know what we were doing. And those are situations we have to clean up and get fixed. But we did come up with some big plays at big times. I thought Lely Steele on the inbounds play right there. I think it's a 12 or 13, 14-point game. Kind of just it boosted us, and the next thing you know, it's like a 6-0 run to put it up to 21. Um, you know, you give up 20 in the second quarter, 19 in the third, and then the first and fourth, it's 9 and 10. We've got to figure out a way to get that a little bit more consistent, where maybe you're giving up 13 or 14 a quarter. And not such big swings. I thought the third quarter we really offensively played well, but we just didn't defend. And those are areas of concern because it's going to be fun here the next 6 or 7 weeks.
Coach, can you talk about where your team was the first time you met Pitt, and then where Pitt was and where you are both now?
Well, our first time we played Pitt, it was a great game going into the fourth quarter. I mean, it's a 10-point game, and then we had a big run in that fourth to make it look like it was a 30-point victory. I mean, the score reflected that, but it's not actually how the game took place. And then I thought today, the first quarter we played well. Defensively, we didn't score great. We missed some gimmies, some easy ones, but there was a lot of emotion at the start of the game. Uh, so I wasn't really all that surprised, but defensively we were locked in and stopped them from scoring. And then that second quarter, we just kind of started trading baskets. And then there were a few possessions where, you come up with a stop, the ball gets deflected, and it lands right in their hands. They turn and score. It's like, golly, you did everything right, and you just had some bad luck. And I think there was maybe 6 or 8 points during that second quarter. But where we do have to get better is at the end of shot clocks. We defend at times extremely well, and then the shot clock could get to 4, 3, and then we'll back off of somebody. And I've tried to explain to them, I don't care what it says on the scouting report. If it says she's a driver with 3 seconds, she doesn't have time to drive. So now they all become shooters. So you've got to pressure them. And in our game at Pitt, they scored 15 points with 5 seconds or less on the shot clock. Today, they had 8 going into halftime. So that was a concern of like, hey, you're guarding for 25 seconds, guys. We just have to finish the last 5 out.
I know you've always talked about consistency and knowing what to expect. Are you closer to knowing what you're going to expect from your whatever you're playing 6, 8, 9 players, or is it still a little something different game to game?
No, I think it's getting closer. Uh, we're just going to be a ball club that, there might not just be that one player every night who you're going to be like, they're going to get you 16 to 18. Jada shot the ball extremely well today. I thought we passed the ball. We found her in open areas, and she knocked down open shots. So then you keep feeding her. And on Thursday night, it was Kiki in our Boston College game. So I think that's who we're going to be, and we've got to be smart enough to know who has the hot hand. But the refreshing thing about it, which is exciting to me, we have shot the ball extremely well this entire season. We're unselfish. We make open shots. What we've got to do is we try to make some shots a lot harder than they have to be, especially in some transition layups where you've just got a power layup, and we try to do a Euro step and then all of a sudden you miss something that should have been just a layup. I thought Sid at in that third quarter, just by ripping and going hard, after they had scored, we get an and one from her just on a simple sprint layup and puts it up and in. Those are the things that I think we've got to continue to work on and improve, because those plays like that are daggers when the other team scores and all of a sudden they feel good about it. Before you know it, it's two passes down the floor and we're scoring. But it's a good group to coach. They cheer for each other, which is what I like. Just look. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 players with 9 shots. We don't have anybody with more than 9. And it's pretty impressive because we all shoot it at a pretty good clip.
Kind of going back to Jada and how she played today. You blinked and she had 12 points in that first half. She mentioned it herself, how you've been getting on her all season. Just shoot the ball. Is that what you felt like she was able to do more of today, and how she's trending in the right direction?
Well, yeah. I was really excited for her because I've been challenging her this entire season to shoot it when she's open. And she had been passing up way too many open shots. And then in that second quarter, I wasn't planning to take her out, but she asked for a sub. That's the new age. I never asked for a sub. Are you kidding me? So I joke with her about that. I'm like, we got to get you back in the gym and get in shape then, because she works on her shot. Her fundamentals are really, really high. Her form, her follow through, her release is really good, and we need her to be able to get more open looks. And then when you get them, don't turn them down. Shoot the thing. So I was really, really pleased with her, and I'm challenging her to be more of an impact on the defensive end as well, because I think she can do that.
After the game, in that huddle that you guys had, you said it yourself, it's about to get real with the schedule coming up as it stands right now, 4 ranked matchups in a row. What do you take away from a game like this, getting ready for those big-time games?
Well, they're all here's the thing. They're all big-time games. Just look at our league. Virginia beats Carolina by 15. Pittsburgh just went to Virginia and won. It's crazy. So that's why I've always been impressed, and I say it about our program here. You got to take care of the ones you're supposed to win. And we've been very fortunate to be able to do that for the most part. Because there's going to be 50-50 games where you've got to steal a few on the road. You've got to make sure you protect home court. Our game on Thursday, I'm expecting a great basketball game. The Fair kid's as good as any player in the league. She's as good as anybody in the country. They're playing extremely hard. They rebound the ball offensively at just an incredible percent. So you can't turn and just look at a shot that goes up. You got to find somebody and put a body on it. So I'm expecting it to be a physical game, but a high level basketball game.
Kind of going off of that, Jeff, I was asking Marissa about just historically, it seems like you guys have peaked at the end of the season, which obviously you want. She called you a mad genius just in terms of what you're able to get out of players. I guess, what do you do to get them to this point, so where they're able to peak at the right time? And I guess, what do you do with this group in particular? Just kind of like, is it, I guess, personal for each team, or how does that just kind of work?
Well, I've always been one that's big. We're not practicing for 3 and 4 hours. I don't have the attention span to do that. I'm good for 2 hours. And then we go in there and we're just trying to knock things out, get things done, and move on, because I think it's just as important. It's actually more important to have kids that are fresh and excited. It's Christmas break. I give our kids 5 days. We miss out on a day or two of practice, but my philosophy is when they go home for Christmas, I want them to go home, and then after about that 3rd or 4th day, their parents are making them do chores. Okay, they got to clean up around the house, and they're ready to come back. Where I've got some friends and programs where they send them home for 2 or 3 days. They don't get a chance to see all their family, don't get a chance to see all their friends, and they really don't want to come back. See, I'll I'll sacrifice a day or two of practice to give them that time with their family because I think it pays off at the end. And it's not a secret recipe that we've got, and I'm not saying it's the only way because we're still looking to win a national a championship here. But I mean, if you look at our post-season success, I mean, over the past 15 years, I mean, I'd put us up there with just about anybody. And I think we've had some teams that people didn't expect us to go as far as we have. Because it's really important to get your players to believe they can do more than what everybody else thinks they can. And then when you get them to really fully understand which one of their teammates, whatever they do well, we want to make sure they do. That's when it becomes fun. If I'm a three-point shooter, I'm making sure my teammates know it, and then they know, okay, if I get him the ball here, it's going in. If I get her the ball in the post, she's going to score. But it's like, okay, don't throw that three-point shooter the ball in the post. That's not where she wants it. And those are really important, is getting to know each other well. And it's getting harder because you're only getting them for some of them for 8 months. But I think this group really enjoys playing with each other out there, and they're really starting to understand who does what well.
You mentioned just the practice time and sending them home for Christmas. I guess that rest factor, is that something that you've learned during your coaching time, or just how have you learned that importance of that?
Well, you know what? I learned it when I was at Maryland as an assistant. We had a young lady, Orly Norez from France, that we played like on the 22nd of December. Then we were coming back ACC, playing like on the 28th. And it was such a quick turnaround that she couldn't go home. And by February, the middle of February, she was so homesick that it was like, my God, we would have been better off having her miss that game on the 22nd, go home on the 18th, see her family, get a chance to be at home, and then come back refreshed. And then that's kind of when I learned, okay, it's great to get practice time, man. I love it. But I'd rather have kids come back refreshed and excited to be here. So that's kind of when I took that approach, and we've been doing it here ever since. I appreciate y'all. Thank you.